Hey guys, welcome to the Something About Tuesdays podcast. I'm your host, Phoebe Joy. Join me every other Tuesday for a lighthearted podcast to keep you company while you do your thing. Hey guys, what is up? I had to have a different introduction because this is a different type of episode. So this is Something About Tuesdays, a bonus episode. I don't know how often I'll do bonus episodes or anything like that, but I didn't want to start the normal like, hey guys, welcome back to episode blank, because it doesn't count as a regular episode. So as I mentioned this past week, I had the experience. I had a chance to go on a trip on this cruise, and I wanted to share it with you guys, but I knew it would be a very niche topic because it's the cruise itself isn't just a normal cruise. It was a cruise that was held on by people in my church organization, decided to create, I guess, like just one opportunity for a lot of people who believe the same way, who are part of this belief, to come on the cruise and get to spend time with each other and, do fun cruise things but still be around people of similar mindsets and like faith. And so that's why this is a slightly a different type episode, because if you're not part of the UPCI or, part of, I guess, the organization, you may not quite get all of the references. Now, like I said, it'll still be a good episode regardless, because the stories aren't all necessarily related to that. But when I mention certain people, you might not, if you don't know them, you might be like, why would I care? But if you do, then you'll be like, oh yeah, okay. So that's just my disclaimer. So please enjoy the episode regardless if you know anything about Pentecostals or the UPCI or not. Please enjoy the episode. But I'm gonna jump right in. Okay, so this cruise. My mom last year decided to go ahead and book a cruise for what would be this year, 2024. And she and Dad they went on this apostolic cruise. It's called Apostolics at Sea, pre-COVID. So I think back in 2019 is when they first got to experience this cruise and go on it with other fellow apostolics. And they really enjoyed it then. I think another couple from our church, Elizabeth, her parents went as well. And I do think they all had a good experience overall with it. And it left, just a good taste in their mouth, and it was something that they enjoyed. But then, as we know, here comes 2020 and COVID happened. And so I don't think that the people who put on this cruise for Apostolics did it up until this year. I think this is the first year since COVID that they have had this specific cruise, or this specific, this group that did it. I know there's a couple of different ones. I think there's like Praise at Sea is another apostolic cruise, but this specific one is Apostolics at Sea. And so it had been since COVID. Mom was wanting to go again, and so she decided to let's do a girls' trip in celebration of just spending time together, in celebration of Mom retiring, whoop, whoop. Just things like that. So it was for my mom, my sister, and myself. So this past year, Mom saved up, managed to pay for it. Luckily, blessedly, Mom paid for the cruise for my sister and myself. Thank you, Mother. And we just had to help cover our flights and excursions that we would go on. So that's just the background. That's just setting up like, okay, how did this even get started? Where did we even begin? So that's where it began. And so, so here we are. Mom and I and my sister, we fly into Galveston, and that's where the cruise is going to be leaving from. This is my first time, I believe, in Texas, at least since I can remember. Maybe I went when I was a kid or something, but as an adult or as someone who remembers, this is my first time in Texas, which really, I don't know if it counts because all I did was fly into Houston, go to Galveston, leave on a ship, come back. So I didn't really spend time in Texas, but it was nice. It was cool to go there. I think in last week's episode, I did talk about flying and just some of the basic travel stuff and things like that, such as, the awkwardness of waiting for your bags. We ended up flying on this teensy little plane, which I know planes come in all shapes and sizes, I guess, but this one was hilariously teensy. Like when we were boarding on, I felt like I could see the pilot like just through, like I could see the plane like boarding on. I'm like, oh look, and there's the pilot. Like I can literally just see him right there. So it's kind of weird and interesting that airplanes can be like that tiny yet still fly through air. And I know, like obviously you can get smaller planes and things like that, but I think I'd prefer the big ones. I don't know. I don't know what about bigger airplanes makes me feel a little safer. I think the same with like bigger ships too. Like the bigger the boat, I think I'd feel a little better on. And that's another thing, y'all. I'm not a huge water person by any means. I like to go to the beach to look at the water, to wade in up to maybe like my knees, maybe up to my waist if I'm feeling froggy that day. But that's about it. That's like all I need when it comes to water. So going on a cruise in and of itself, I did want to try one. I was like, why not? I think everybody should try it at least once. But there was a little anxiety there because being on a boat completely surrounded by water does not sound appealing to me. I am someone who cannot swim. I can doggy paddle if needed, but I just being surrounded by water is not the most exciting aspect of life for me. But I was excited to go on the cruise. I was excited to spend time with my mom and sister, and I was excited to go and see and meet other Pentecostals. So that part of it seemed pretty fun. So we get there, and I have to throw out, I did feel cool because I recently got my passport, as y'all know, to go to the UK with my husband last summer. And so I have my passport, but we also got passport cards. And I was like, okay, it says on the card, you can use it for, US, obviously US, for Canada, for Mexico, things like that. And I was like, okay, now I get to try it. You know how like if you haven't had a chance to like prove something yet, you're a little nervous about like, did I read it right? Like, can I actually just use this? And so I brought both my passport and my passport card. And when they asked for my passport, I just handed the guy the card, and he was like, ooh, look at you with your passport card. He was like, all right. And he took it and it was good to go. And I was like, yay, it worked. So I felt kind of cool, coming in. I was like, yeah, I got my passport card. Like I don't have to bring my passport, which was kind of cool. But it's another like interesting thing that I guess they just don't do anymore is they don't stamp passports. Maybe you can ask for it to be stamped, but when we went to the UK, I didn't get it stamped or anything. And I remember, I feel like I went to Costa Rica once for a study abroad program, and I can't remember if I got it stamped then or not. It might have been, but that would have been maybe over 10 years ago. Maybe about 14 years ago, something like that, maybe 15 years ago. But that's like, I kind of miss that part. I say miss like I actually experienced it, but I think that was the cool thing was having your passport stamped. Because now I'm kind of like, what's the point of a passport book if they're not going to stamp it? Like if they're just scanning it these days, like why not just have a passport card? Because you're not going to stamp the book anyway. Anywho, so I did notice that nothing got stamped. And I kind of was like, hey, I want some proof that I've been here, but I guess it is what it is. Now, what would be cool is if they're like when they scanned it, it uploaded to some cool website thing where you could see all the places you've been. Like if you go on like passport.gov or something, it'll show you like, okay, you've been here, you've been there, you've been there. Then that would be cool. Like I'm cool for like a digital stamp. Like that part sounds fun. But just like no proof at all. That part I'm like, hey, I missed that. So that was, getting on there. We made it to the cruise. Night one was just, I think a chill night. They did a concert. So here's where names come in. So if you don't know, I'm sorry, but look up these people because they're great. So night one was the concert. The singers for the week would be Cher McKee. I was going to do a Cher McKee impression, but I can't do runs. So just know that she is the queen of all the runs, like the, all that stuff that I can't do. Amazing singer, Cher McKee. And then there's Court Chavis, who is a great male singer, who can do the runs too. Great soul to his voice, great singer, great worship leader, lots of spirit. He's pretty cool as well. Then there was Brittany Scott. Love her. She's sweet. She has a great voice. She has anointed songs. I think songwriter and singer. Great testimony. She's a great person there. So she was there as well. Then you got David and Bethany Jennings. David Jennings, he writes songs, he makes songs, and features his wife on there. Both of them have amazing voices. They're just great in our organization and contributing great things. And then there's Jason Davidson, who has been singing for a while. Amazing voice, very professional, very talented. I feel like I get the impression he knows a lot about music and about voice and about how to engage audiences, things like that. Just, you can tell he's been doing it for a while and has kind of honed his craft and is great at that, good at touching people. And so those were the lead singers there. So they all had opportunities to sing like their songs. And so night one was the concert where we got to hear from everybody. And it was good, like great concert. Everything went well. Loved it. I got my chance we got there early enough where we got to eat lunch, and I got to see the spread of food that is on cruises. And that was fun. Having access to free food at almost any time of the day, at any amount that you want, is such a good feeling. Even if the food, I'll have to say, not all the food was amazing. Some of it was kind of bland. That would be like my only critique. I mean, it was cooked well, cooked nicely, but some of it wasn't as seasoned as I would want. But some of it was. Like, for example, their fries, on point. Very good fries. For whatever reason, those are really good. I had those several times throughout the cruise. And their bacon, excellent bacon. So good. Their omelets, good. And so they had different things, and I like its variety. Like, they had your international station where you would have like your Indian food, which I love. I love Indian food. And your different ethnic food. I think there was African one night, maybe Chinese, Japanese, some type of Asian inspired food. That was really good. And then you had what they call like the classics or the faves, which is your typical American, mac and cheese, hamburger, hot dog, pizza, that type of things. The fries, that's where the fries were. That was really good. And then they had, I think maybe they'd switch up kind of the main course each time. I don't want to say course, but other options would change in and out. And then you got your fruits and things and your vegetables and all that stuff. And it was really cool. Like I said, not all the food was like amazing, but it's free and therefore you can eat it and it's yummy and it's delicious. It kind of felt like a college cafeteria, actually, with the buffet style of everything. And so I was like, this takes me back. But it was fun. So we did that when we first got there because our rooms weren't quite ready yet. And so we did the lunch and got the buffet, and that was amazing. And then so this is still Monday. We, got our rooms in, got to meet our guy. His name was Vic, and we asked so much of him, and he just did it all with a smile. It was wonderful. So great guy, great service. He was probably like our favorite person to interact with. Of all the amazing people on that ship, he was our favorite. He always had a smile. He always asked how we were doing. Great dude. So we got into our rooms, was able to go to the night concert, which was fun. That was great. And that was day one. How could I forget? Okay. So then we had dinner. This was before the night concert. Dinner was like 5 or 6. I think it was 5:30. And when we got there, I got to meet one of my favorite people on the ship. I say my good friend. I know we've only known each other for like a month now, if that. But Alondra, that's her name. And she was there, and she was brave enough, y'all, to go on this cruise solo by herself, like, and do the thing. I mean, we were like, what? Like, you're by yourself? She's like, yeah. But when I say, like, she's so sweet and amazing and fun. And Alondra, if you're listening to this, hi. I'm so glad I met you. Just so easy to get along with. Lovely person. Love her to death already. And we're going to stay in contact. I'm determined to stay in contact with her forever. So we met her, and then we met our other table mates, and that's Priscilla and her daughters. Hey, Priscilla, if you're listening, she's an amazing person with a great testimony, just a wonderful spirit. Just, those people who are just down to earth, easy to talk to. They love God. They're just pleasant, you're happy to be around them. That's Priscilla. And so once again, her and her daughters, both precious, both sweet, got to talk with them and be with them. And then, not that night, we didn't get to meet our other two table mates until later, but I want to save their introduction to later because they end up being just so much fun. But we didn't meet them that night. So that's who we met that night, and it was great. So we went to the night concert, and that was great. And that was day one. Okay. So before day one, we finished day one. Let's get to night one. So we got the 2 twin beds and a pull-out couch. First off, we could not figure out how to pull out this couch for nothing. It was so impossible. We were tugging on it, pulling on it, could not figure it out. So luckily we got Vic, and Vic helped us to figure it out, pull it out. But when I say, y'all, that couch was the epitome of uncomfortable. As hard as a rock. The just what you would imagine, like just a pull out couch that just isn't meant to be pulled out, I think, would feel. That was that couch. So this is part of why I was like, Vic was so great, because the next day we were like, hey Vic, like, is there any way we can get a cushion for this couch? And he made it happen, and it helped so much. So thank you to him. But so night one, sleeping was a little rough. But we made it through into the next morning, where we would have our breakfast that we had. And then we had our day service. And this would be the only, church service that we would have for the rest of the cruise. It was just that Tuesday morning. And it was just like a regular service. And Brother Josh Carson, he was the one who preached. He is from Indianapolis, from Calvary Tabernacle. He, I believe, took over the church after Pastor Mooney was there, and has been a great asset. So he preached an amazing message about manufacturing. Oh, what was the title? I can't think of the title, but it was something about manufacturing God's promise or something like that, like trying to manipulate, like, what God has promised in your way. I don't know. I can't say it the way he did. And I don't know if there's any copies or videos or recordings of it anywhere, but it was a phenomenal message, basically about like being authentic, waiting on the Lord, but like doing but being real, like with your relationship with God. And because that's what's going to get passed down. That's what needs to be passed down, not some fake religion, not some like hypocritical walk with God, but no, like the authentic realness. That's what's going to get passed down to the next generation. And that's what we got to do, is make sure it's real, authentic, make sure we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, essentially. So great message, phenomenal. Okay. So here begins a very key part of my story about this experience on the cruise. Because, all right, so there are different events and things on the cruise. One of the main events, or the highlights, was the Apostolic Voice. And what this would be a competition set up similar to how The Voice is set up, like the one you see on TV or whatever, vocal competition. But our version, an apostolic version. So of all the people who are on the ship, so I think there's maybe 400 or 500 people from our organization who is there. People would sign up to be part of that competition, be part of The Voice. They would go through 3 rounds, etc. I'm about to get into that. So that's just one of the events, okay? I knew about this event before coming on the cruise because my mom had sent it to me. She's like, hey, you should sign up for this. I do sing at church, but I sing. I'm on the praise team. That's it. I don't like lead worship or anything. I do sing solos and things like that and can lead songs, but that's about the extent of what I do. And so I y'all, and we're just gonna be real. I sing, but in times past, I've always said I'm not a singer. I sing, but I'm not a singer, because I think singers are people who, like, that's their thing. Like, they can sing, they can do runs, riffs, they have control, they have that skill, they worship that way. Singing is who they are. They can sing at any time of day or night. They're singers. They can sing. I can only sing when I'm like singing for Jesus in a church service. And that's because I have a voice. I can carry a tune. I have good tone, etc. But that's it. That's the extent. Like, I can carry a tune. I have good tone, etc. I need God to do the rest. So if there's ever, like, if people ask me to just sing, for the most part, I'm like, no, because I'm not a singer. Like, I can only sing for Jesus. That's the only time I feel comfortable singing, I will say, is when I sing for Jesus. And so the idea of this competition didn't really interest me, because I was like, okay, yes, it's all apostolics, which this would be, if there was ever a time to do a vocal competition of any kind, this would be it, because these are people who would get me. This is that, like, because if I'm going to sing, it's going to be a song that glorifies God, So that's kind of the way, like, if I ever were to do it, this would be the way to do it. But I was not interested. I was like, no. For like a second, I played with the idea. I remember like the week before, I was like, maybe. But they were like, send us a track, send us this. And I was like, I don't have tracks or anything. I don't know how to do this. It's a week before we leave. I'm just not interested. And so I thought, let it go. So like I said, we get there on the cruise. Monday passed. Tuesday at the service. At the end, they're like, hey, we still want people for this voice competition. We need more people to sign up. Okay. And after that amazing service, I mean, I'm feeling like, oh God, I'm feeling close to Jesus. Sometimes after them great services, you feel like you can do anything. Yeah. So I'm feeling Jesus, feeling God, feeling boldness, feeling just love and encouragement and all that stuff. And so my mom and my sister and my newfound friend Alondra were like, hey, you should go do the voice. And I was like, no. I still wasn't feeling that. I wasn't that confident. But they're like, well, just go find out what's going on. And they were like, hey, come over here to this side and just figure out what it is. And so I was like, okay, I'll walk over there just to ask what all it entails, what it is, etc. So I go over there and I talk to the guy in charge. I think it's Tim Hall. I think that's his name. And he's like, I was like, so what is this? What all does it entail? Like, do I just sing a song and then we move on? Like, is that it? And this is what he said. He's like, okay, so Tuesday night is round 1. And already I'm thinking, round 1? Wait, there's more? He's like, Tuesday night's round 1. You will sing. The coaches, there will be 3 coaches, David Jennings, Bethany Jennings, and Jason Davidson, whose backs will be turned to you, like the Voice TV show. And as you sing, if one of them wants to choose to be your coach, they will turn their chairs and choose you. If multiple coaches choose you, you can pick which one you want. But if one coach chooses you, then that's your coach. And that's round 1. And already I was like, just the fact that I have to sing enough to like get someone to feel enough to turn. I was like, already I'm like, I can't do this. Like, no, I cannot be judged like this. I don't put myself out there. I'm competitive. Actually, I'm not competitive in the least. When I am competitive, I'm ambitious, I guess. So it's 2 different things. Like, I don't want to compete against anyone. If I'm going to do something, it's like, I'm doing it for myself. Like, I'm ambitious. Like, I want to achieve something for myself, not at the expense of competing against anyone. So already I was like, I don't know. I don't know if I can do this. So then he went on to say, so that's Tuesday night. That would be tonight. And I was already like, oh my goodness. He goes, if you make it to the next round 2. 2 days later on Thursday night, you will have to sing again. And this time you will sing in front of 3 judges. This would be Brittany Scott, Cher McKee, and Court Chavis. And they will critique you, and they will choose from those people who the final 3 contestants will be. And I was like, oh my goodness. Again, y'all, I was like, I can't judge by a whole nother 3 people. So that's six people who were like critiquing me in some way. And I was like, okay, keep going. And he's like, and then whoever they choose, those final 3, Friday night, will sing again. I was like, oh my goodness, sing again. And this time the audience will choose who they want. And I was like, oh no. And I said, okay, good to know. I'm good to go. So I turned around like, you guys, I ain't doing it. And my mom and sister and Alondra were there like, no, you have to do it. You got to do it. And then there was this lady there. Her name was Hannah. And she was like, hey, I'm doing it. My husband was encouraging me to do it. He said, it's just going to be fun. Let's just do it just for fun. Come on, you can do it. Like, she was really encouraging me. Come on, you want to do it. Let's just do it just for fun. And I was like, okay. So I buckled under the pressure. I buckled and I said, okay, all right, okay. You know what? If nothing else, it'll give me something to talk about on the podcast, whether I fail or succeed. Like, it gives me an interesting story. It's just an interesting part of my life. So I said, you know what? I'll sign up for it. So I signed up for it, y'all, not knowing what I would sing, not knowing anything. And I asked him, I was like, hey, Brother Hall, how do we know to sing? He was like, well, we'll meet, right before, mind you, the competition starts at 7:30. We're going to meet at 6:30 and you can let us know what we're going to sing then. I was like, oh my goodness. And the band I'm pretty sure they'll know it. I was like, oh my goodness. So from that Tuesday morning on, let me just say, nerves have been engaged. Anxiety has now formed on what was supposed to be a lovely, relaxing ladies' cruise, girls' trip, celebrating my mom's retirement, has now become like this competition that I'm involved in. So that day, my nerves are already on point. So we go to get lunch after that, and that's good. I think at that point I was still a little too nervous to eat. I ate some, but I'm thinking like, oh my goodness, I got to come up with a song for tonight. And so that was it. I was like, I got to come up with a song. We got to figure something out. Okay. And so during this time though, so just keep that on hold. Like that's in the back of my mind, but we do take the time to explore the ship. We went up to, we found the library, which had like 0 books. It had maybe like, I don't know, 50 books, 100 books in this big old space. But we found the library. We went to like the pool area. We found the water slide. I think that night we found it. And then we found the chapel. Now, the chapel is going to play a very key part in my voice journey, okay? Because the chapel is the highest point. So there are 14 floors on the ship. And then once you're on the 14th floor, you can take another set of stairs to go up to the chapel. And it's a small little chapel. And we found it, and we found that it had some really good acoustics, okay? All right, keep that in mind. And so we found the chapel, and I played around up there, and I was like, man, this place has good acoustics. But, so that was that. Okay. And that was, we throughout the day, I think we just chilled on the ship, explored being on board, took a nap, did all those things. And I'm like, okay, I got to come up with this song. And in my brain, I'm like, okay, I decided to sing King of Glory. This was a song that I knew I sing at church. It's one that I was pretty comfortable with. It was one that I felt like that it would show what I could do well, which if there was anything good about my voice, I would say it's because I can sing low and I can sing smooth. Like that's it. Like that's it. I've got lowness and smoothness. And to me, that's like the best I could do. And so I was like, okay, that'll showcase that. And I understood like usually like sopranos win these things because they can get high and hit those like crazy high notes that people are just like, whoa. And then they love sopranos because they can go high. And so I was like, I don't have that. All I have is my lowness. I'm a straight alto. And so I was like, I'm going to do what I'm comfortable with. I was hoping I'd make it to the next round simply because I would have loved 2 days of coaching, even though that did end up looking different. But I was like, oh my goodness, I would love 2 days of coaching or, that would be cool. Like if I make it to round 2, that would be amazing. And then I don't have to make it past that. Like I'm fine. Like I don't have to do it. But at the same time, I didn't want to make round 2 because that meant that I had to sing in front of the 3, Corey Chavis, Brittany Scott, and Sherry McKee, which would just wreck my nerves because they are all phenomenal singers. They are all technically proficient and excellent in what they do. And they know what to listen for and what to do. Okay. So I was like, oh my goodness. At the same time, I don't want to make it to round 2. So I was like, I'm going to do King of Glory. I'm going to just do a song that if they pick me, they pick me. If they don't, they don't. And so I went to dinner that night. And this is where I realized like, oh, I'm ruined. I am ruined for the rest, at least the next 2 days, because at dinner the night before, man, I got everything I wanted. I got 2 appetizers. I got the main course. I got the dessert. This time around, I got my simple basic appetizer and my entree, and I don't even think I ate all of it and the dessert, but I was so nervous that I could not eat hardly anything. I mean, my stomach was in knots, and so I was like, oh my goodness. So I had to eat early because we had to meet at 6:30. So I went down at 6:30 and I was like, okay, here I am. Y'all, my stomach is literally like almost in knots now just thinking about it. So I go and there's the other contestants are there. They're showing up. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I cannot believe I am doing this. I tell the guy, Brother Hall, he's like, okay, what do you want to do? And I said, I'm going to do King of Glory. He's like, okay, good. Yeah, the band should know it. Go talk with the band and see if they know it. So I go to the band and I talk to the piano player and I was like, hey, I'm doing King of Glory. He's like, great. What key? And I was like, I have no idea. He's like, okay, well, let's try it. he said, listen to your voice. Let's do like the next key down from the original. And I was like, okay, let's do it. He played like a couple lines of it. I was like, okay, that should work. And y'all, that was it. That was my practice. Didn't make it through the whole song. Didn't make it through the whole chorus. Didn't make it through the whole verse. That was it. Just picking a key and be like, okay. And that was it, you guys. And so then I go back to sit down, and then another girl goes up. Her name her name was Haley. And she was a sweet, beautiful thing. Tall, elegant, blonde, just as gorgeous as can be. And so she went to go sing, and from where I was sitting, I was like, oh man, because she was that soprano I was talking about who can hit the notes, and people were like, whoa, that was her. She was hitting them notes, and I said, why am I even here? why am I even here? And then another young lady, she went over there, she sang, and I just, as people practiced or got ready or whatever, I was like, why am I even here? This is not going to be good. But here I am, because you know what? I'm here for fun, right? That's why I'm here. And Hannah was there. So that was the preparation. So we stayed there until the other people came to practice, like Brother Jennings ended up coming because they had to practice their set. They were going to do kind of like a pre-concert before The Voice. And so everybody practiced, and that was that. So 7:30 rolls around. Here we go. All right. So I'm in the room. I go back to meet with my mom and sister. They're like, we're excited. And Alondra, they're like, she's like, we're ready. And I was like, oh my goodness, I'm not. So I go say hi to them, but then I have to go sit with everybody else near the back entrance where we would have to go in. And y'all, did I mention, by the way, that so normally in these, there was 12 people who had signed up to compete. And I was like, I want to be like number 3. Like, give me, like, I don't want to be the last because I can't handle hearing everybody else who's good. I'll be way too nervous. I was like, but I don't want to be first, right? So I ended up being number 2. I didn't ask for number 2, but I ended up being number 2. And I was signed up to go after a kid, which I was like, oh my goodness, I don't know how this is going to work. Like, they're going to see the kid and they're going to think she's so cute. And they're either going to pick her or they're not. And then they're going to hear me and they're going to want to save their votes because the coaches could only pick 2 people. So from the 12, there would only be 6. And I was like, so I'm going to be skipped because they're going to want to save their votes. Like, it's not going to be good. So, but it was fine. It was fine. I was like, all right, it's fine. It's going to be okay. So I go down there. We make it through the concert, which I enjoyed, but it's so hard to enjoy things when you're nervous about like your turn to go up there. So it was a beautiful concert. It was lovely. I can't tell you much about it other than I know it was great. So then here we go. It starts, and Bunch and Breeze, they are these comedians who are part of the UPC, and they dress up as these. I don't even know. I don't know if they're like old, but just some goofy ministers is what we'll call them. So they're the ones emceeing the thing. And the girl goes up, the little girl, and she does so well. She sings Waymaker in English and in Spanish. And she did her thing. And already a coach turned for her. I think 1 or 2 coaches turned for her. And she picked one. I think she picked Brother Jennings. And she was set. And I was like, oh my goodness. Like already. I was like, I'm about to not get picked. But I was like, you know what? It's okay. So I walk out, see all the people, and I'm like, okay, it's okay. It's okay. And they start playing. And when you haven't practiced, you're like, what's the introduction? When do I come in? So I listen for a little bit and then I just come in. And yes, those notes were shaky. But I start coming in, and I start singing, and I'm doing my thing. I make it through the first verse. I make it through the chorus, and I make it to the bridge. And so far, nobody had turned their chairs, like nobody. And I'm already in my brain being like, okay, that's okay. Like if they don't turn, that's okay. Like this is just, I'm just singing. I'm gonna do my best, and I'm gonna be fine. I'm gonna walk off. It'll be fine. So I get to the bridge. I'm making it through. I'm almost through the chorus, about to end, when one of the coaches turns his chair, Brother Jason Davidson, and I'm like, oh my goodness! Like I finished that chorus and ended the song and was like, like I can't believe it's done. And so Bunch and Breeze, they lead me up there. They're like, hey, someone turned for you, da, da, da. And they asked the question, are you ready? Like, do you want this to be your coach? And y'all, I almost shook my head, not because I didn't want him to be my coach, but because I was like, I can't do this again. Like in my brain, I was thinking, no, like I appreciate you turning, but that was the peak of my nerves. Like I can't do this again. Like, so they probably saw the panic in my eye and quickly changed the subject and started talking about other things. And then we're like, shake hands with your new coach. And I was like, okay. And I was glad. I mean, I'm glad that they, brushed past that, because I was probably full panic mode, about to just be like, no, I'm good, thank you. I'm like, y'all, I was legit about to bow out, but I didn't. Somehow I managed to stay, and I got to sit where the other little girl was, and sit up front and listen to all the other singers. Well, then after me was Haley. She was the blonde I was telling you about. Beautiful voice. Of course, they all turned for her. She picked her person. I think she picked Brother Jennings. And then there was a Kylie. She had an amazing voice. I loved her voice. She was an alto, but could get high as well. Had so much control. Beautiful sound. She sang Goodness of God and just killed it. Like note one. What's the beginning? I love you, Lord. Oh my God. Like her, I love you, Lord. I love you, Lord. Da, 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 da. She just like went in. And I was like, okay, all right, we done. Like, why am I up here? Again, was like, why am I up here? So they did it. So we went through, we had a couple other young people, they picked theirs. And then it got to the point where they were like, okay, because you guys have kind of picked who you want, but we still have contestants, you can pick a new person and kick out a contestant. And when I say, y'all, it happened to us. Okay, Brother Davidson, he heard another person. Actually, he heard Hannah. The one lady who I told you about who encouraged me to do it. He heard her and he said, oh, I think I want her. And he had already picked me and another young lady. And so now it was elimination round, right? And so the three of us had to stand up there, and he had to decide between the three of us who he was going to pick. And I was like, I just know he's not going to pick me. Like, because everybody else had like a kid, like a young person, like 12 and under, and an adult. And so it was me. It was I think she was 12, maybe 10-year-old. And then Hannah, who was also an adult. And I was like, I'm going to be the one dropped because Hannah's a stronger singer. And I didn't do that much. Like, I just sang the most basic of songs. I'm going to be dropped. But somehow miraculously, he chose me. He's like, I'm going to keep you. And he kept Hannah, which I thought was just, honestly, I thought that was a God thing. Like, it was so cool that, one of the people who encouraged me to do it in the first place was the person I was teamed up with. And I felt just so happy that she was on my team. Like, even though I know one of us, I think, would get picked in the end, I was like, man, I don't care who it is between the two of us, because I just, like, that's how much in sync with you that I feel. Like, she was just so amazing and encouraging. So I was very happy that he picked her and that he picked the two of us. And so that was round one, y'all. Round one, I made it from the 12 to the 6, okay? That night, I almost was eliminated, but I had made it. Felt good. My friends were encouraging me. I went immediately after that to go eat some pizza because I was starving. And I made it to round one. So that was Tuesday night, okay? So then Wednesday, that's when we land in Costa Maya. We got breakfast and then we get ready for our excursion. We had chosen to do the Mayan evolution, I think it was called, Mayan evolution, something with the Mayan culture excursion. So we get to Costa Maya, and the port was beautiful. They definitely set that up right for tourists because there were palm trees and this beautiful beach. And when I say the water, y'all, when I say it was blue, it was blue. It was blue and turquoise and just this stunning color. Like, and I guess because I'm not usually around oceans or whatever, it fascinated me with how absolutely beautiful the ocean was. This water was. It was so amazing. So just getting in there, like, it was absolutely beautiful, like picturesque. When I took pictures, no filter needed. That's how stunning it was. So we go on this excursion, and we go to see like an ancient Mayan temple that was over 900 something years old. And it was fun. And then we got to go to, as part of the experience, we got to go to this woman. She was a descendant from Mayans, house and her home, and she fed us food, tacos from that they made. Like the chicken was made in ground, kind of like, it reminded me of Hawaii, how they have the pork in ground. And it was like that, but it was chicken, and they made chicken tacos that were so good, authentic, beautiful, amazing. We got to eat that and eat that around. We ate it outside, and it was amazing. We learned some of the words, the Mayan words. I can't remember a lot of them, but that was really fun. I think I do remember that key was like delicious. So if it was good, we'd be like, key, it was key, it was really good. So that Mayan excursion, it was fun. It was funny because it was a 4 hour, it was marketed as a 4 hour thing, and it was, but like an hour of it was like driving to the place, and then we stayed at the place, ate the food, and then like the hour ride back. But even along the ride though, the driver, he did speak to us and give us information and give us history about Mayan culture and things like that. And that was really fun to see. So that was a beautiful place, Costa Maya. So we did that throughout the day, and then we get back just in time for dinner. And that was Wednesday night. And I'm feeling like, okay, because I don't have to sing Wednesday night. So I'm like, okay, I can enjoy a little bit. Like I can splurge. Like I can't say I didn't completely enjoy my time because of the competition, but I did enjoy Wednesday night's dinner. That was fun. It was good. It was yummy. Experienced that. Got to hang out with my friends, my Alondra. I got up, was able to do breakfast then, and then we went to our excursion. This time was just a trolley tour, and we got to once we got to Cozumel, we got on the trolley, got to see around the city, got to explore some of the like shopping markets and things like that. Got to see a couple like a temple type place. Drove past like their air thing for their military. Just got to enjoy that and see kind of the island of Cozumel, and enjoy that and learn about that. We went to the Catholic church that was there with the beautiful stained glass windows. Got to see iguanas that were there. That was pretty fun, like just to see the little iguanas sunbathing. Because that's not something we see often. So it was cool to see that and get to spend that time with Alondra. And we got this really cool picture because there was this one alleyway that had these different color umbrellas like all along the top, and it made for this cool picture, which was Alondra's idea to take the picture, and it ended up being awesome. So she got to take the picture and I got to take a picture, and it was really fun. And then we got to take a picture of Cozumel, and this guy took our picture, of course, expecting a tip afterward, which we gave him because he did take some great pictures of the four of us. So that was fun, and that was Cozumel. Once again, beautiful water, great hospitality with everybody. Enjoyed that. So we go to, I think Wednesday night we got to meet our other people. I can't remember if it was Wednesday night or Thursday night. I think it was Wednesday night. And maybe it was Tuesday night. One of those nights we got to meet, maybe it was Tuesday night. We got to meet the other people of our dinner table. And these are two girls, Davinia and Madeline, and they were so much fun. They were friends. They'd known each other from before, and they booked the cruise together. And that was just part of the story. Like, they had missed their excursion because I think they had asked when they were supposed to go, and the other people were like, wait, but apparently they were supposed to go at that time. So they have some fun stories to tell of their aspect of it. But just hearing that she almost missed that was like, oh, that would have been wild. That was so crazy. But yeah, so wild. But so dinner was fun that night. Enjoyed hanging out with the girls. Got to meet them. We had seen I had seen the water slide, and once I realized that the water slide did not go into a pool, I was like, okay, I want to do it. And the girls were like, yes, we will join you. Like, let us know and we will do it. And I was like, yay. I was like, I want to do it before we leave. So I was like, probably Friday is when I want to do it. Because I'm going to be way too nervous at any other time. But no, it's because we were busy the other days. But so we got to see Costa Maya, got to go to Cozumel. My friend almost missed getting back on the ship, but she made it. And that was Thursday. And now we're back to Thursday night, okay? So this is where round 2 was going to happen. All right. Now, I hadn't met with my coach other than to say what song I was going to sing, which I had chosen the song I Speak Jesus. And I picked that song because I was like, okay, my coach had said, pick a song that has some range. They want to see some range. And pick a song that can show the range and that you're comfortable with. And so while this isn't a song that I lead at my church, it is one that I know because I was like, I have to pick a song I know. And it's kind of tough picking a song because you got to find one that you can sing kind of solo. And the type of singing I do at church usually is a solo with, there's the praise team behind you. You don't have to lead the whole thing by yourself. And so I was like, it's got to be a song that I can carry on my own. I had thought about doing Believe for it because that's the song I sing at my church, but I knew I wouldn't be able to carry that. Like, that's kind of a heavy, hard song for me to carry to do that chorus back to back, and I just knew my voice wouldn't last. I was like, that's not the one. So I chose to do I Speak Jesus, and I felt good about it. Like, I prayed about it. I was like, God, once again, like, I can't do this without you. Like, I know this is a competition, but if I'm going to sing, it's for you. And I literally just can't do it without you. And so I prayed about it and I felt good about it. I practiced in the chapel. So Alondra and my sister, I think was it Wednesday night? We went back up to the chapel to see if I could sing up there because the acoustics were great, to see if they would be able to hear me on the 14th floor. And so my sister went down and I sang as loud as I could because, you have to be able to like sing in full voice. And so I did, and my sister was like, I could kind of hear you, but it's okay. And I was like, okay. So that became like my practice while I was up there in the chapel. And so I actually did sneak up there in between Thursday night's practice and in the actual thing. So anyway, so I said all I'd say. I had chosen I Speak Jesus, and my coach was like, yep, that'd be good. Let's go. So we had to meet early again at 6:30, but we actually really didn't have time to practice anything because all the other singers also had to practice. It ended up being like kind of like another quick run through again. Like, what are you going to do? I'm going to do I Speak Jesus, just the normal key or whatever. That's going to be my song choice. Well, we ran through one of the, I don't remember if I went to the verse, the bridge, but when I say it sounded like I hit some note and it was so terrible. I think it was, shout Jesus from the mountain, Jesus, over every enemy. My enemy was like, enemy. I don't know what I did, but I was like, oh no. Like during practice, it sounded bad. Everybody else was sounding great. And I was like, oh man, like, So after that, I was like, I gotta run upstairs real quick. So I ran up to the chapel and I practiced and I was like, okay, I can do it. I practiced as much as I could. And then I ran back downstairs, and then went downstairs and was like, okay, I'm ready. So that was Thursday night. So Thursday night, it's the time. It's now 7:30. We got our pre-concert. I could barely hear it and listen to it because I was still so nervous, even more nervous this time. But it was down to the 6th. And okay, they did it by coaches. So actually our coach was last to go. So Hannah and myself, we were the last people to sing. So the first two go, and it's Haley and I think I can't remember the little girl's name, but those two went. They both did great, killed it, and the judges picked Haley. And then it was the next two. It was Kylie and the other young people. Kaylee, once again, nailed it, did fantastic. Like I said, she's a phenomenal singer. And they picked Kylie. And I was like, I had a feeling it'd be them too. And then it was our turn. It was mine and Hannah's. And we're sitting back there, like we're hearing what the coach or the judges are saying. And we are just like, oh man, like they're letting them, not letting them have it in a bad way, but they're being honest in their critique. They're saying all the good things, the things they need to work on, things that will help them, just all of that, like stuff that you honestly really want to hear. But when you're about to go before it, you kind of get a little nervous, right? So we were nervous. So it was our turn to go out. We decided that I would sing first because my song was slower and Hannah's song was faster, and that would be kind of hard to follow. So we go out and I go out there and I sing I Speak Jesus. And I do my best. I do as good as I can. Not every note was perfect, but I did the best that I could, and just did it. So then Hannah went out. She went out and killed it. Powerful singer. She's such a powerful singer. And then the judges, gave us their spiel. They talked to us, and they said all the things that they that they liked about her or whatever. And when it got to my turn, they were like, "Hey, what you did tonight was very different than what you did a couple nights ago. There's so much growth. There's so much improvement. You showed us a lot more." Basically, they were like, okay, this is what we want to see. This is good. And y'all shaking in my boots. I was like, okay, thank you. Just nervous as all get out. And so then somehow, by the grace of God, they're like, you know what, we want to push you to the next round. And we're going to choose you to be one of the finalists. And I was nervous. I was like, this is amazing. I was surprised and amazed and then immediately super nervous. Oh my goodness, I gotta do this again. But feeling very blessed because I knew that there were a lot of phenomenal singers that didn't make it this far. Like there were people round one that I'm like, man, I know they're better singers than me. How in the world did I not get kicked out for this singer? So so while I was very nervous, I felt very blessed to have that opportunity. I was like, okay, all right, like okay, we're doing this. So that was Thursday night. I think once again, I went for some pizza again, because I did not eat during dinner. I think even that night, I didn't even stick around for dessert. But what was so cool was after that, so many different people, and this is what I love about the people of God and about being around people who get it, is so many people came up to me and encouraged me after that. And they were like, you know what? That was so anointed. It was more than just a competition. Like, you were more than just singing. Like, that was like God moved there. And it was, I've mentioned this before, but the elders, like when elder people, they take the time to tell you things that encourage you. And it's just amazing. And I felt so comforted and encouraged by just the words that people had to say. Like, the encouragement, everybody was like, you know what, you did great. Like, we're rooting for you. Like, beautiful, great singing. But beyond that, anointing, like, you let God use you, and da 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 da. And that just felt so good and so assuring, and affirming that, okay, God's with me on this. And I'm not saying, please don't take this as God's not with like every single singer that was there, because God totally was. This is just my personal experience and my personal feeling of knowing that God was with me, and being encouraged by other people. So that was phenomenal, just to have those different people just encourage me in that way. And it was so cool. So that was Thursday night. So this is also the, not the last night of the cruise, but we're getting towards the end. I sleep good the next morning. Breakfast was good. I'm still a little nervous. That day, we did not have any excursions or anything planned, but there were sessions, and I got to attend the ladies' session by Sister Sharon McKee. And I was so excited because I was like, okay, I love Sister Sharon McKee. I've heard her speak before. She's just a fun person to listen to. There are, most speakers, I think, are talented, good orators, otherwise they wouldn't be speaking. But some people are very engaging and very easy to listen to. And she's one of those people. In fact, she has a podcast with another lady, Sister Ginger Labatt, called the Moral Support Podcast. And theirs is fun to listen to because they're just real people. They're chill. They are highly respected in our organization, but they're so down to earth at the same time. And so it was fun being able to, listen to that podcast, but to attend the session to have her speak to the ladies. And so she spoke on basically like keeping guard over your thoughts, right? And casting aside those thoughts that aren't good and that aren't uplifting and aren't of God, and just seeing the I think it was glitter. It was either glitter or glimmer in the things. Like, look for those things that bring light and joy and peace in your life. Like, find those things and let them shine in your life, and be active in doing that. And she talked about mental health, and she talked about like the spiritual side, the mental side, the physical side of all of that, making sure all that's in check. Not being so reliant on one or the other, but let they all work in accord with each other. And so that was a fantastic session that I got to sit on. I wish I would have recorded the whole thing. I recorded some of it, but I didn't record the whole thing, which I regret, because now I want to share different parts of it with other people. But I was just sitting there and soaking it in myself that I didn't get a chance to record the whole thing. But phenomenal message from her. And then that day they had a hymnal service, not service, but like a listen to the old hymns kind of concert, where they sang the just different old hymns. And I didn't stay for the whole thing because Mom and I and Beth, we had a reservation for one of the restaurants for lunch, and it ended up being it was a nice restaurant. Our waiter was super nice. And we enjoyed that. I enjoyed the food as best I could. Once again, my stomach was still actively like, over knowing I'd have to sing that night. But it was a good experience with my mom and sister, which this whole time, they had been so encouraging to my sister. Like, night one, after I sang, she was like, yeah, like so excited. And both nights, like just like thrilled for me, and gave me the biggest hug. That's what I came by night two. I was like, where's my sister? Because I'm expecting that smile and that hug from her. And my mom, of course, encouraging me, being like, okay, you can do this. It's going to be all right, the whole time. So we had our lunch there, and then afterward, I think they went to go take a nap or to chill a little bit. So I went exploring. I went to go to listen to the hymns, and what did I do? What else did we do? I think I went to listen to the hymns, and then I was going to go to listen to or go join the Apostolic Trivia. But there ended up being a lot of people at that one, so I didn't stick around for that. But I decided before then I needed to go practice in the chapel to practice what I would sing that night. And I had decided to sing Not Afraid, which is a song that actually my pastor's wife sings and kills like every time just so well. But I just felt like, okay, like, I don't know, sometimes you do stuff to honor people. Like I kind of want to do this to like honor her and make her proud. I know she's not here, but like I felt like it was a song I could do, and it felt very fitting because I was very afraid. So Alondra and I think this was even before the hymnal thing. We went up to the chapel to go sing and to go practice. And I go up there, and there's a lot of people up there because I think it was somewhere around the hymnal time. It was probably right after or something like that. And there was a lot of people up there up on the 14th floor. And I was like, man, I got to practice. People were going in and out of the chapel. I was like, I got to find time to practice. Well, it looked like it had slowed down. Like people weren't going up there as much. So I go in there, and Alondra's like, okay, I'll stand guard at the door. I was like, okay. So I'm sitting down, I'm not sitting, I'm looking down, I'm standing at the front, and I'm just singing, like, you have this confidence, and I'm not looking up. But the next thing I know, I do look up, because I hear, like, a door, and standing right there, like, kind of to the side, were Bunch and Breeze, who are the MCs, just staring, and I was like, oh no. And then like 2 seconds later, Alondra comes in through the other door, and she has this like look like, like, oops, because she was supposed to stand guard and make sure nobody came up, but there was 2 different doors, and they had come up the other door. And so I look up, and on like one side is Bunch and Breeze, like looking like, hey, and on the other side was Alondra being like, oops, I'm sorry, I didn't stop him. And I'm standing like embarrassed, and I just stopped singing, and I turned around. I was like, oh my goodness, like I can't be practicing with them. And they just come in, and they're like, oh, we're just looking around for a room for whatever. I don't know what they're looking for, but it was embarrassing, but hilarious at the same time. I was like, oh my goodness. Like, I wish you would have seen, just been there in that moment. It was one of those, you kind of had to be there moments, but we were caught. I was caught singing. This has happened before, y'all. I don't know if y'all remember, like, episode 1, 2, 3. I don't know which one, where I've been caught singing. But it was hilarious. So they did leave, and then I was able to continue singing. And then somebody else came up, and I was like, oh my goodness, like this isn't going to work. And then finally, okay, I was like, I think people had left. Alondra was standing guard again. Not very well. But so I think we made it where there wasn't a lot of people. But I was singing, and somebody had came up, and they left the door open. And I tell you what, by the time I came back down, like I just knew everybody had heard it. Cause you know, people, they give you that look, like they know they just heard you singing, heard you busting out, before me, behind me, you know, like they knew. So anywho, so that practice, it was good, but it was hilarious cause so many people were part of that practice unintentionally. But yeah, so that was that. We went to the hymnal thing. We did the trivia thing. And then at some point, I can't remember if it was before or after, once again, probably before, we did manage to go slide on the water slide. So yeah, okay. Oh yes, it was before, because I think it was before, because mom came with me, I think. Anyway, so we go up, I go to the water slide. There's 2 water slides. Y'all, as you know, I don't need water. I'm not a water person. I don't have to swim ever, honestly. I can get in water and then for like 5 minutes and be done. But I did want to experience the water slide. So we get up there. It's Davinia, Madeline, myself, and Alondra. And we go up there, and we go down that thing. And it's so much fun. It could have been a little more fun in some ways. Like, I feel like there probably could have been more water that could help kind of coast me down. But it was fun. And we ended up doing, I think, 3 times, maybe even 4, just going up and sliding down that thing. And that was a blast. So that's fun. And what's cool, it's fun seeing like other people who believe, you know, the same way you do, who have that same foundation of faith and belief as you, who kind of look like you know, who dress modestly as you do those fun things. I mean, it was awesome. And so we did that, and that was a blast. And honestly, what was great was during that time, I did think about the voice competition, but it wasn't bothering me. I was like, you know what? No matter the outcome tonight, no matter what happens, I am having fun right now with these girls. Like, so thank you to them for helping distract me, like legit. It was so much fun that for that brief amount of time, I felt good. I felt happy. I was like, this is what the cruise is about. And it was a blast. And mom there, she was there to catch our stuff or to hold our stuff, which I'm glad she was there. Like, sometimes you just kind of want your mom there just because, for no reason, just to be there. So I'm glad that she was there and to take pictures and to hold our stuff. And, that was probably one of the most fun parts of the trip for me, because it was just like, it's something that I don't often, actually, that I never do, and that I got to experience with people that I enjoy being around, and yeah, with my mom and everything like that. So that was great. So that was Friday during the day. So much fun. Had a blast on the ship. Got to do our thing. Dinner, once again, I was still nervous, but enjoyed dinner with everybody. And then now it's Friday night. It's the final night of the competition. And we meet early, of course. I go over Not Afraid briefly because we were running behind. Oh, I forgot to mention, I was part of the mass choir. So Brother Hall, we had practice on Tuesday where we learned 2 songs for the mass choir that we would be singing that Friday night. Friday night was like the accumulating concert, just kind of like the final concert where everybody, I think all the singers would get a chance to sing, and then the voice singers would get a chance to sing, and then the choir would get a chance to sing, and that would kind of wrap up our time on the ship together as we'd all be leaving the next day. And so we started at 6:30 to prepare, but the room wasn't quite ready yet, so we were behind. So it did put things behind by, I think, 30 minutes. But I said all that to say that I didn't have a chance to practice a lot. I did get to run through one of the verses of my songs, in the chorus and the bridge, which was more than before. And my coach, he actually joined me in practice and was like, I might come out and join you singing, or I might not. It's things that we've done in the past, but we'll just have to see, which it was cool, like singing with them. I was like, okay, yes, feel free, this is cool. And so we make it through our practice. Everybody practices. It's now 8:00 and they're starting the thing. So everybody sings. Savannah McKee, now just Savannah Pedigo, I forgot to mention she was there, and she got to sing a couple of her songs. Sharon McKee, Brother Chavis, Brother Jennings. So everybody sang and did their best and did amazing. Which I'm like, y'all, why do you have to put the voice after that? Because y'all are already amazing singers, and then we gotta follow that. Like, come on now. But then it was time for the voice. And I would be first this time, sadly, y'all. Yes, I was going to be first. And so I go out there and I start singing. And this time it's not up to the judges. It's up to the audience. They get to choose who would win. And I go out there. I'm singing I'm Not Afraid. My coach ends up joining me towards, I think, the chorus of the bridge or whatever, which was really cool. And I'm just singing. Like, I'm just singing my little heart out. Like, I'm just singing the only way I know how, which is to minister, to bring people in, to just bring God. Like, that's the only way I know how. And definitely, once again, not saying that's not how the other people don't know how. Like, they were anointed and everything too. So please don't get me wrong. But it was just, I was like, okay, this is what I have. This is what I have to bring. This is it. This is me. This is like what you see is what you get. And so I'm giving it to you and I'm giving it to God. And after I sang, y'all, this is so cool. After I sang, at the very end, like, the crowd were so loud, cheering and standing. And I've never had an experience where anyone has cheered for me like that, like, just for me and for what I was doing and for the purpose. Like, and I knew it wasn't just because, oh, you're a great singer, but it was, I think they felt what I was bringing. And it was so amazing. Like, I did not get an itch or call or anything to, like, be on stage or anything. Like, sometimes people say when you get that first feeling, you're like, oh, this is something I want to do. No. But I did. It just felt so, I don't know, I appreciated it. Like, it felt like support. It felt like belief. It felt like love. It just felt good. It felt like all the right things that they were just cheering for. And it was amazing. I looked around, I was like, wow. This is cool. Wow. Like, even if I don't win this, like, these people out here, they're supporting just me. And it was so cool. So that was that. And then Bunch of Breeze, they came over and they took me over to the side and, did their thing. They're comedians, so they did their thing. And then the other two girls came out. I think Haley, maybe it was Kylie. Kylie was next. She sang Beautiful Jesus, beautiful rendition of that song. Just like I said, both these girls had stunning voices. Beautiful song. She did amazing. And then Haley went and she did Jesus, which is a song I love, and nailed that, killed that. And then it was time for us to come out, and it was time for the audience to choose. And since I went first, they lined me up first. Well, they had to pick. They were doing it based off decibel readings. So they're like, whoever has the highest decibel reading would win. So they had to. That took actually a lot of time to get that situated on the phones and things like that. But they did get it situated. And so they, Breeze put his hand over me and was like, okay, everybody cheer for her. And everybody cheered, woo! And they did it for Kylie and everybody cheered, woo! And then they did it for Haley and everybody cheered, woo! And then we had to wait. And they're like, do we have our winner? And they're like, yes, we have our winner based off the decibel readings. And they had to send it back to the technology people to put it on the slides to share on the slide so that it would pop up. So what would happen is the name of the person with the level of the decibel would pop up, and that would be the winner. And so we're standing there, our backs are turned. They're like, you guys can't look, keep your backs turned. And they've got the music going. Everybody's just like holding their breath. And it's just, it took forever. And then it was like, and the winner is da 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 da. And then you just hear screams and they're like, yeah. And I turned and it was my name and they're like, yay. And they're like, Sister Phoebe. And everybody screamed. And then the girls hugged me and it was just wild. And I was like, are you serious? Like I won. And so what I ended up winning, I won a free cruise to go back the next year. And that was it. That was it. It was amazing. It was wild. It was crazy. And I still can't believe I won. It feels so weird saying that because I feel so undeserving. Like, it's hard for me to say that I won really because it feels so undeserving. But I did, and so it was so cool. And I could breathe after that. And after that, once again, like people came up and were encouraging. There are people from where I live, from where I live. They knew different people who we went to the same church, and I got to get pictures with them. It was so cool. These two young girls came up to me and they were like, hey, can we get your picture? And I was like, yes, like, it's fine. They're like, we don't want you to think it's weird. I was like, no, it's fine. But I don't like, thank you. Like it makes me feel good that you want my picture. I got a picture by this older guy and he gave me one of the best compliments. He was like, I like music. He goes, I listen to music all the time. I love music. And he was like, I was, one of the reasons I was rooting for you, was cheering for you. He goes, I can hear good singing, anytime, but like anointed singing, it makes a difference. And y'all, that just melted my heart and I loved it. And like I said, once again, not to say anyone else wasn't anointed, but to be like, just to have that kind of confirmed for me personally was just amazing. And so that was cool. And then one of the best compliments came from this lady from Canada. She came up to me and she said that she said, I was drinking. She's like, I had my bottle of water and I was drinking water. And I told my kids that I was drinking water so my voice would be ready to scream for you. And I was like, wow, that is so crazy. Like she was getting herself ready and prepared to support me and to cheer me on, to scream for me. She's like, I was drinking my water. I was like, I'm getting ready. I'm going to scream. And different people came up to me and encouraged me and to say, you did amazing. It was great. It was wonderful. It was anointed. It was so good. And that was just, it was awesome. It was so awesome. By the end of it, we got a group picture. My mom, my sister came up and hugged me. Alondra, the girls, they're like, yeah, because they had screamed for me. And that was the voice competition. I, somehow had made it through, and I still get nervous, y'all, thinking about it. Like, that's how much it impacts me. It's been like a few weeks now, and I'm still like, oh my goodness, like, whew, I get nervous. But it's just amazing that I was able to do that. All on that cruise. So thank you, Mom, because if Mom hadn't got me on the cruise in the first place, none of this would have happened. And Mom and my sister and Alondra for encouraging me, and for Hannah for encouraging me. And it's so cool because I got to meet people. Who I hope to be friends with for a lifetime on this cruise. it's kind of funny because I remember before I went, I was talking to my friend at work, and she was telling me, she's like, I bet you'll make a friend on the cruise. And I was like, I don't know. Sometimes you get on these big ships and things, or you get on these big events and you don't connect with anybody. And you just, you stay in your bubble and you leave. But I made friends, and I'm so excited about my new friends and just about the whole thing. It was a great experience. So again, like, thank you, Mom, for making that happen, because that would not have happened without you. And thank you, Mom and sister and Alondra, for encouraging me and for just keeping me going, like doing that. Like, y'all know I would not have done it. I would not have done it. I had no intention to do it if it wasn't for you guys. So thank y'all for that. To anyone who was on the cruise, thank you for your support. Thank you. Thank you, Priscilla, because you came, you and your daughters came, and y'all supported me. Thank you. I love it. But that's not the end of the story. So that's the end of the voice, the Apostolic Voice. Amazing, phenomenal, loved it. Thank you, God, for real, for being with me. But then, so Friday, that was Friday night. I ate my pizza again, pizza, cookies, y'all. Yes, I went in as hard as I could, trying to make up for the lost time. So then the next day, though, we go back to Galveston, and my mom, sister, and we get to go to the Space Center. And which was really cool. I was tired. I kind of wish I'd want to go again, maybe when I wasn't so tired, returning from like the cruise and all of that. But it was fun to see. And I asked husband what he wanted for a souvenir, and he actually wanted this world paperweight. And so we got that. I got that. And I say that because it comes part of the story later. So I got that. I got some of the space food, which I don't think I've still eaten yet, but I remember it from when I was younger. I'd had some space food, or like the space ice cream or something. So I did get some of that from there, and it was just fun. It was fun to look around, to explore, to see the rockets. They're so big, to read the stories about all the astronauts, to have some misconceptions addressed and changed. I'm not going to tell you guys what I thought and then learned was different. Let's just say that I'm glad that the Space Center lets me know that we have been to the moon several times, not just one time. Okay, so that was fun. And then we get back. So we get to the airport, and we're going through security and stuff like that. In my bag, I just had a feeling. I knew they would, because he picks up my backpack, and my backpack is really heavy because it has that space ball that I bought, that paperweight, which was, it had weight to it. And so they take it, and I was like, I know they're gonna want to check it. So they send it through the thing, and the guy, he takes it, he scans it, and then the guy comes up, he's like, hey, I'm gonna have to check your backpack. I was like, that's fine. He's like, he literally says to me, what is this black ball? Like, all we see is this black space. I was like, it's a paperweight. And he just gives me the most incredulous look, like, seriously? So he opens my backpack. He opens the bag that it was in. He opens the box that it was in. It was like wrapped up in a box and like all this kind of stuff. He takes it out of the bag that was in there. He lifts it, moves it around. And I'm like, it's from the Space Center. Like, I don't know what to tell you. And he's like, okay. And he sticks it back in there. But I was like, husband, you got me stopped. Which actually is hilarious, because it reminds me that my mom got stopped when we were getting off. It was when we were getting off the boat coming into, I don't remember if it was Costa Maya or Cozumel, but she got stopped by a dog because Mom, I guess because she's got to watch her diabetes and stuff, had packed some food in her bag, and the dog smelled her fruit, and she had to take her fruit out and throw it away, because you're not allowed to bring, I guess, different fruits onto the island on and off or whatever. And so we both got stopped this time around. So yeah, I got stopped for that, but made it through and was able to eat at the airport, which I did tell in the last episode about the chocolate stuff that I was able to have. That was so good and yummy. And that's still, that'll probably be my food segment, unless I say the fries on the cruise that were really good, because those fries were delicious. But yeah, so then that ends, that's now we're reaching the end of that adventure of the Apostolics at Sea cruise. And I have to say, like, man, and if you get a chance to go. It was so cool. It was so cool to see, like, who I consider famous people, like Sharon McKee, and Brittany Scott and Court Chavis. Like, those are people I'm like, they're famous. Like, what? And to be critiqued by them, to get their feedback, like, oh my goodness. if I figure out a way to incorporate some of this stuff onto the podcast, I will. I did create a video, which I might share it on my Instagram, of like of clips of me singing and clips of the judges and their critiques and feedbacks and things like that. So I might share that on Instagram. I don't know if you can do a long video. I did create it. I did create it using Canva. It was my first time ever doing a video, so it is very rudimentary. So please don't judge it too harshly when you see it. But I will try to put that on there. We'll see. If not, I'll maybe try to include some clips on the episode itself. But anywho. So so that is my Apostolics at Sea cruise adventure. It was fun. It was just the voice, as you can tell, kind of took over that whole cruise experience for me. But the other aspects of the cruise, such as going to, Costa Maya, Cozumel was great. Exploring the cruise itself, the ship itself was fun. I want to throw out their elevators, y'all. Man, on a cruise, if you go on an elevator, I can't remember if I said this, but if somebody's got something, you gonna have it too, okay? Because it is tight. That is one thing. It is so tight on those things, and everybody's riding and stuff. So that was something I just wanted to mention, that if, I can see why cruises needed to be on lockdown, like during COVID, because if one person on that ship had it, just go ahead and assume everybody got it, because it's tight. But it actually was a big ship. There were like stores, like little stores on there. I think there was like a Coach store. They sold purses and things. Like there was all kinds of things. And there was ice skating. I wish that I think the only ice skating they had was when they had a show, and the show didn't interest me. But I didn't see where you could like just ice skate, like just for fun, but that would have been cool. But they did have different events. They had like basketball, pickleball, dodgeball on the sports center area. There were like just different things to do. There were different seminars you can go to. Actually, Mom and I, we went to, the How to Boost Your Metabolism seminar, which we knew they'd try to sell us something by the end of it, which they did. But I did learn some stuff about like my metabolism and about the role that I guess our liver plays in stuff. And apparently it was selling us to like a detoxing thing that they wanted us to just spend $100 for this thing and $600 a year. And it's a good deal, all of that. But, so they have those little seminars, which are fun. I think they even had like a Zumba class, which I would have loved to do. I didn't have time to do, but that would have been fun. So there were things to do, even for, if you didn't want to engage in like the other things. Like there was a casino on there, which obviously doesn't interest me or anything like that. But there were other things aside from that made the experience of the cruise still fun. I will say, and I didn't realize this, but I guess I get a little motion sick. And it wasn't just because I was nervous about the voice competition, but I was aware of the ship moving some, which that was an odd experience. Like especially when I was walking in the middle, like I felt like I could just sense it. And everybody, like my mom and sister, they're like, we can't feel anything. So I will say, if you are a person who gets a little seasick sometimes, that you might want to think about getting like a pill or something, or getting that wrist thing for that. But that was just something that I also noticed on the ship, that apparently I can get a little seasick too. But overall, fun cruise. I would recommend it. I would definitely recommend if you are, part of the UPC, or even if, you're just... or even if you're just, I don't know, you don't even have to be part of UVC. If you practice Pentecostal faith or Apostolics, or even if you just want to go on a cruise where maybe there are church services, like, or things that do glorify God, even, in that environment on a ship where people usually are just kind of doing their own thing, then that would be a great time to go, and a good opportunity to go and enjoy other people of God and like faith, but also like relax and have fun, as long as you're not involved in a voice competition. But yeah, so that's it. That's all I'm going to share. I know this has been a very long, but for being a bonus episode, y'all, this is long. I did not intend for it to be this long. I thought it'd be like 30 minutes. Apparently, y'all know I can talk. But I did want to share that with you guys. If you have any other questions, like if you are interested in it, find me, message me, anything like that. Like I said, I will try to post some clips of the actual competition itself. But thank you guys for listening and for tuning in. I hope that you were at least somewhat entertained by this story about this cruise, and I hope I've encouraged you to go on a cruise, or I hope I've encouraged you to try and do something that maybe you don't think it's your niche. Maybe you don't think, oh, did I say it correct? Niche? Okay, y'all, I think I got it. Maybe it's something that you think, I don't know if I can do that. But let me just tell you, with God, you can do it, okay? You may be nervous the whole time. You may actually go on a cruise and come back weighing less than you did when you went. 4 pounds less. But you can do it, okay? And God's got you. And with God, you can do it. You can do it. So whatever it is that maybe you feel a little nervous about or scared of, that last song, Not Afraid, let that be your anthem. Don't be afraid. In fact, I was reading Joshua this today, just got into it. Joshua is one of my favorite books of the Bible. And I just started like chapter 1. And one of the verses is, do not be now like it's lost me. Be of good courage. Let me see. Be of good courage. Be strong and of good courage. There we go. But do not be afraid and do not be dismayed. And I love that and it says why? Because I am with you. I am with you always. And so God is with you, and you don't have to be afraid. You don't have to be dismayed. In fact, you can be strong and courageous. You can be of good courage and of good cheer, because with God, you can do it. So that is my encouragement for you. That is, I think, the lesson that I learned in that was that even in this thing, with God, I was able to make it through. Like I said, it's not something I felt very confident in at all, but I do feel blessed in. And so, yeah, whatever it is that God might be leading you to, even though it makes you a little shaky, your knees might shake, your tummy might be queasy, know that you can do it with Him. And hopefully you can do it with a little less anxiety than I did. But even if you can't, even if you're nervous, hey, I made it through, so you can too, okay? So yeah, all right. So that's it. I hope you guys have an amazing next week or two. The next episode should come out at the normal time. So next Tuesday will be our regular episode again. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening, and I'll catch you guys, I think just next week.